Join us for the Fanatical Prospecting Bootcamp that will help your team 5x their pipeline in 90 days or less. We'll be hosting it on March 10th and 11th in Atlanta, Georgia. Go to salesgravy.com/live. That's salesgravy.com/live and use the code podcast to save $100.
This is Jeb Blunt, and it's Money Monday on the Sales Gravy Podcast.
Say, make money, money, make money, money, money. Make money, money, make money, money, money. Money makes the world go round. I'm the talk around town.
Welcome to another edition of Money Monday. My name is Duff Tucker, and today I'm filling in for our fearless leader, the hardest working man in sales, Mr. Jeb Blunt. Now, if you've listened before, you know that Jeb always delivers big insights to help you sell smarter, lead stronger, and build more pipeline. Well, today is no different, but today we're going to be shining the spotlight on the real star of the sales story, your prospect. And we're going to be talking about a common mistake that many sales professionals make, something we call the main character syndrome. Today, we'll be discussing what main character syndrome is, why it kills deals, and most importantly, how to flip the script so you become the trusted guide your buyer actually wants to engage with. So let me set the stage. Have you ever been trapped in a conversation where the other person talks nonstop? It's all about them, their vacation, their dog, their favorite new gadget. And you realize this isn't a conversation at all. It's a monologue. You're instantly annoyed. You tune out and you start looking for your escape from the conversation. This is exactly how prospects feel when we as sales professionals make ourselves the hero of the story instead of them. Today, we're going to break down how to avoid this trap and keep your prospects front and center. Let's define the problem. Main character syndrome shows up in sales all the time. You've probably noticed it or even caught yourself doing it. On the phone, it sounds like a rep launching into a 5-minute pitch about their company history before even asking a question. Over email, it looks like giant blocks of texts about feature with zero mention of the prospect's actual problems. On LinkedIn, it looks like those connect and pitch messages that basically say, here's my product, here's my calendar link, let's meet. The common thread? It's all about me, me, me. The sales professional makes themselves the main character, when in reality, the customer should always be the hero of the story. Here's the truth. Prospects don't care about your product. They care about their problems, their goals, their world. And when we as sales professionals make it all about us, we trigger resistance. Prospects feel like they're being sold at instead of collaborated with. And that leads to objections, ghosting, and stalled deals. Think about it. Nobody wants to sit through a feature dump. People want relevance. They want to feel heard. They want to know you get them. Now, when we as sales professionals fall into the main character syndrome, it's not only bad etiquette. Main character syndrome has consequences that can be catastrophic to your deal and your success. Here are the 3 greatest consequences of main character syndrome. Number 1, prospect disengagement. When sales professionals focus on themselves and their product instead of the buyer and their needs, they tune out. Calls, emails, or messages feel like feature dumps rather than meaningful conversations. And this causes the prospect to lose interest or ignore outreach altogether. Number 2, we miss opportunities to uncover real needs. By making the interaction about themselves, sales professionals fail to ask the right questions or hear what's really going on with their prospects. This prevents us from identifying the true pain points, goals, or motivation, and it leads to poorly aligned solutions. Number 3, we lower our trust and credibility with our prospect. Prospects no longer see sales professionals as that helpful guide. They see someone pushing a product. Without trust, it's hard to move deals forward. It's hard to overcome objections, and it's really hard to build long-term relationships. So how do we flip the script? How do we shift the focus to make our prospects the main character? Well, the most important thing to understand is that your role is the trusted guide, not the hero. So I want you to think Yoda, not Luke Skywalker. To make this actionable, I want to give you a simple 3-step framework you can apply today, right now, to shift your mentality from main character to trusted guide. Step number 1, change your I to why. Too often we start conversations with, I want to show you, I'd love to introduce, or I think you'll like, but your buyers don't care about your I. They care about why your product should matter to them. When you lead with why it's relevant, why it's urgent, and why it solves a real problem they're facing, you shift the focus from your agenda to their reality. When we change our I to why, we stop sounding like a salesperson and we start being seen as a trusted guide. Step number 2, define what you solve, not what you sell. Most salespeople can rattle off what they sell, a platform, a service, a software, but that's not what your buyer actually cares about. Buyers don't wake up thinking, I need a new vendor. They wake up thinking, I need to fix a problem. When you define the problem you solve instead of the product you sell, you build value with your buyer and position yourself as a partner in their success, not just another pitch in their inbox. Solve first, sell second, and then watch how fast the conversations start to convert. Step number 3, listen to hear, not to respond. One of the biggest mistakes salespeople make is listening just long enough to jump in with an answer. But top performers know that the real power is in listening to hear, not to respond. When you listen to hear, you're not waiting for your turn. You're seeking to understand. You catch the nuance, the emotion, the hidden pain points that your competitor will miss because they're too busy pitching. Great sales conversations aren't built on what you say, they're built on what you hear. Slow down, tune in, and let your buyer feel heard. That's when trust and opportunity begins. So here's your challenge for the week. In every sales conversation you have, apply these 3 steps. Lead your conversation with why instead of I. Define what you solve, not what you sell. And listen to hear and understand, not to respond. For accountability, record one conversation where you consciously flip the script and review it with your leadership or a colleague to note the difference in engagement. Remember, the most successful sales professionals aren't selling products, they're solving problems. That's a wrap for today's edition of Money Monday. Remember, your prospect is the hero and your job as the sales professional is to guide them to success. Flip the script, lead with relevance, listen deeply, and watch trust and opportunity grow. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Duff Tucker, and I'll see you next time on the Sales Gravy Podcast.
Survival of the fittest, you can sink or swim. I've been broke, I ain't never going back again. I need some C-notes, some cheddar, and a stack of ends. I need a bowl of dough, I don't need no Facebook friends. I need a pack of them snaps, a handful of Fetty Wops, and rubber band on my greenbacks. Look, dawg, don't be playing with my paper. I need every red cent, that's why I brought my little scraper. Money, 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 money.